Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Racers Elite Network. We're here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway, racing the trucks. I'm your host tonight, Joshua Norton, joined by Matt Metler.
What is going on, man? Thank you for having me up here in the booth with you. It's great to be back on Racers Elite Network, brother.
It's great to have you back. Feels like it's been quite some time.
I'll tell you what, we were talking off air really quick. Time flies when you're having fun, and can't believe it's been almost 2 years, but what better place, Earnhardt Country, Talladega. The stage is set, and let's get ready to go racing, man. I'm fired up, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, man, I'm ready. I love being up here for these super speedway races. You know, I don't find the best luck myself down there on track, but I found being up here, getting to talk with everybody, getting the broadcasts, you know, it's a blast. 2.6 mile track, 4 turns, 33-degree banking. We're gonna see some crazy racing tonight.
Absolutely. You know, I always say it's not okay to 3-way at Daytona, but this megaplex, you can go 4 wide here if you're good enough. One thing you got to pay attention to, though, pit road speed 55 miles an hour here. Daytona, it's 60. So you got to make sure you pay attention to that. And look at that banking, 33 degrees. And I'll tell you what, seeing it here on the virtual speedway does not do it justice. The first time you see it in person, you're sitting there going, how does a car stick to that? Until you actually see it happen, then you fully grasp what's actually happening as we get graded up, ready to set, ready to rock and roll here.
I have yet to be down in Alabama to actually check out Talladega Speedway in person, but I'm ready. I've seen some pictures and it is gnarly. All right, starting in row number 1, pole position, we have Jim Berg? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, I'm not going to lie. And starting number 2, Jonathan Sidham in the 42. Row number 2, coming in 3rd, we have Ryan Warp in the 45, and to his outside, the 10 of Kirby Wainscott. Row number 3 will be Blake Viken. To his outside, Charles Jobin. Row number 4, we got Aaron Marquise in the 41. His outside, Brandon Biddy. Row number 5, we've got Michael Rakes in the number 7. His outside, Garrett Michael in the 63. Row number 6 has got the 67 of Mikey Allen and his outside, the 60 of Lee Campbell. Row number 7 has the 55 of Truth Hope with Brett Ray in the 6 to his outside. Row number 8 is a 16 of Sam Lubers to his outside, the 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger. Row number 9 brings the 98 of Andrew Teft to his outside, the 83 of Rob Yost Jr. And row number 10 has Kensley Smith to his outside, the 26 of Jesse, I want to say Adar or Adar. Let me know if I am saying that wrong. Row number 11 has the 44 of Timothy Adams to his outside, the 50 of Terry Fennell. Row number 12 has the 28 of Russ Kilgore to his outside, the 13 of Robert Garcia. Row number 13 brings in the 111 of Christopher Allen to his outside, the 81 of Kyle Wells. And that is our full field as the pace truck turns off, coming down pit road. We're ready to go green.
It's the calm before the storm here at Talladega, 2x2, side by side, as we get ready to go green flag racing. Buckle up, make sure Grandma's got plenty of kernel-free popcorn into the Geico restart zone. Green flag in the air, and he puts the pedals through the floorboards as those V8s come roaring to life for the first time this evening.
I want to say a really good good start there for the 42 of Jonathan Stidham, not letting that bottom row get away from him. Starting pretty close up there in the front, a little spaced out here in the back. Oh, this is a little closer to the front than I thought it was. I'm sure they're going to be nose to bumper as we shuffle them up down this back straightaway.
They certainly are. It's 2x2, side by side. A John 4 special into the turns 3 and 4 complex as we get up to speed for the first time this evening. Jimmy B, that's what I'm going to call him for right now, in the 888s. Outside, leading this thing, but don't look now. But here comes that outside lane, getting a big push on the high side. That's going to be Kirby Wayne Scott doing all the pushing, and he's going to shove that Chevrolet to the point on the outside.
We already got people looking to take this race 3 wide, and we're coming in on lap 2.
That's right, the high lane there is already getting going. Typically, you don't see that lane right up there against the fence, typically until at least halfway in the race. But hey, it all goes out the window when it's Saturday night. 3 lanes, now let's consolidate. Oh, someone almost got stuck in the middle there. And look at the run out here on the high side. He has got that thing wound up to 1,000. There is the 60 machine, Lee Campbell, trying to do it all by himself as he continues to keep that truck plastered right against the fence. Is it still Jonathan Stidham, your pole sitter, or excuse me, started P2, leading. That 888 machine runs in that second place position, while Kirby Greenscott rounds out your top 3 as it's getting rowdy here at the front.
Yes, it is, and with Kirby Wainscott pushing our outside line, I'm sure Stidham is ready to go. Kirby is a very good pusher. He will push you as much as you will let him.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't agree with you more. I was on track with him last night, and he was giving me some shoves of the century. I was holding on for dear life and loving every second of it. If you want to team up, if you want to go places, partner up with the 10 of Wade Scott, because he will take you to the promised land, just like he brought Stidham back to the lead. Oh, big-time move there with 15. Got to watch him, too. He is a plate ace. That's going to be Kingsley Smith in the middle, already utilizing every inch of this racetrack. And look at that move there. Looks like is that the 22 or the 46 of Ryan Ward, making a hole where he really didn't have one there on the bottom.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the dangers here with the plate racing. I mean, if that hole is open and you can squeeze in there, sometimes you got to do it, because if you wait and it closes, you're just kind of hung out to dry. That's kind of what happened with quite a few of the guys there in that second line and that top line. You know, once Stidham and Kirby dropped down, they were fixated on staying behind them that they almost all just started door banging coming through 3 and 4 last lap. Everyone kind of scattered, and now everyone's fighting to catch back up.
Now look at the front of this race start to transform single file. These jitters that you get, post-race leading up to that green flag when it's all out trench warfare on the racetrack. These drivers, these veterans realizing, hey, we got a long way to go. It's this time by at the line. Only going to be 5 laps on the board. Don't want to have any casualties out there on the racetrack. Best way to do that, get single file and trim some fat off the board. But that's what it looks like we're going to transition to here, at least for the first, 7, 8 cars in line here. Is it still Jonathan Stidham in that 42? He's been coming on strong too, especially in this plate scene. Every time I drop in the section, he is always one of these guys you're going to contend with. I'm not surprised to see him currently leading with the 10 behind him.
Yeah, he had quite the run last night with the LJG racing team. Him, Aaron Rowland, and Joseph Bonner were all holding on to that top 3, working together, and almost brought it home in a 1-2-3 finish. Unfortunately, the 11 got tangled up in some last lap shenanigans, as we always see on these super speedways.
Yeah, I may have had something to do with that, but that's for another time. We're talking about this race right now. The 15, the Napa know-how man, there is Kensley Smith leading the charge on that outside lane. He's going to have Puffenbarger behind him, Blake Viken in the 5 ride doing all the pushing. However, that bottom lane, they have the numbers, and typically, if you have the strength in numbers, you should have the fastest way around this track. But sometimes these trucks can throw a curveball at you. If you got the lug nuts to do it, that middle lane really will transport you to the front quick, fast, and in a hurry. But there's so much at risk should you deploy the sucker hole to your advantage, as we're still 2x2 side by side. No one really going up there to challenge the 42 yet. But then again, we're really early in this race. A lot of these drivers just logging laps right now.
As much fun as it is to be that lead truck or lead car in any of these super speedway races, it is always, in my personal preference, the last place I want to be, just because, 94 laps, it's a long race, you're going to need fuel. I like to stay in line. I want to stay out as long as I can. I do not want to be the first one coming down pit road. And when you're stuck there out in the front, you're burning all the fuel.
That's a great point, and I couldn't agree with you more. The last place I want to be at a plate track is leading, especially early. My luck, bad things happen when I'm leading. I always end up taking a bad push, or you try to play the lanes to maintain that track position, and bad things can happen. But Kinsley Smith continues to bring the biscuits there on that outside lane. Look at that push he is given to Jim on the outside there in that 888 machine. Almost turned him, getting in that triover section where the track kind of transitions and it levels off. Hold on to it, son.
Stidham was looking to maybe take the run with the high side. He wasn't sure. He stays down low. Kensley Smith, I think you want to keep your eye on. He was our, I believe he was our Super Speedway Friday night champion last season. Stidham is going to move up the track, and he is going to take the run with the 888 and the 15. Let's see if that works out for him.
He almost had a 3-train tandem up there up top, and that's going to be just enough juice to clear the 42 back down to the bottom, as he's going to maintain the lead. Old friend of mine, Dave Regal, that I spent a lot of time in the broadcast booth with, he used to call the outside lane the shovel. Basically, you help someone get all the way to the point, and what do? They bail on you to the bottom and leave you hanging. Kind of a class act of that right there. But
I was
here we go. Lanes of action. All of a sudden is the 5 ride. He is feeling frisky on the outside. He's going to throw his hand at the top shelf of the racetrack.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see these guys running 3 wide. The trucks, surprisingly, really, really like that top lane here at Talladega in particular. I feel like every time I've been here in trucks, there's always 3 lanes going, and mid-race you got 3 people jostling back and forth, taking a lap that they led, because you got a car in the middle, you got a car to his outside and one to his inside, and they're just kind of going back and forth.
Absolutely right. If you're running 3 lanes of fast and furious action like this right now, that high lane is going to be the fast ticket around this place. And even with only 3 trucks on the outside being led there by the 15, they are maintaining position. Always the 5 scrapes the fence just a little bit. That's going to cost them some momentum. But you mentioned how these trucks draft at Talladega and Daytona. I think they have the best overall drafting package as far as favoring not only, the fans at home putting on a great show, but also these drivers. You can utilize the side draft, the side force. You can really manipulate the air in these trucks, I think, better than any other car on the oval side of things. And that's why it puts on such a great show. This is the hornet's nest right here, right around that 10th place position. If this is me right now out there at the racetrack, I'm doing one of two things, buddy. I'm either heading to the back or I'm going to the front. You don't want to be in the middle of this when it sets off, because we all know the big one looms. It's just a matter of when.
And a matter of how many, because there has been more than enough super speedway races that I have attended and or announced for that I have seen not only one, but I'd say at a minimum of two real big wrecks.
You mentioned big wreck. We almost had one right there at the rear of this piece. We were 4 wide there, and I don't think the 13 saw that he had a truck there to his outside, but they get it squared up evenly. And back to 2x2, side by side, 3 wide here. There's the HMFIC, Andrew Teft, head cook, chief, and bottle washer, as he's trying to get that Ford EcoBoost to the point. He's another one you have to watch, especially when he teams up with the 15 of Kinsley Smith. That is a lethal pairing right there.
Yeah, it is. Them two, I have seen them two drive through the field on several occasions. Andrew is very good at picking his lanes and knowing when and where to put his truck when he wants to move through that field.
Yeah, it's almost like he flips a switch, and you can just tell by his demeanor on the racetrack when it's go time. When I just see that truck looking racy, I'm like, okay, I'm either going to hold on for dear life or I'm going to slot in behind him. But he's very good at figuring out which lane has the momentum and where you want to be, from a strategic standpoint out on the racetrack when it comes down to the money lap. And that's the final one. All of this going on right now as we currently work lap number 12 of the scheduled 94 right here on Racers Elite Network. It's all Triple H, Jimmy B up front, until I can figure out how to say his last name correctly anyhow.
Yeah, we definitely got a couple of new names, a couple of new faces. A lot of our drivers tonight are, our regulars. We see them week in and week out, but there's definitely a couple of newcomers tonight. So interested to see how they do, see how they perform, and best of luck to them.
13, it seems that we have really flicked the go switch here. You see these trucks starting to do the Indy snake. And you can always tell when they're pushing harder because, there's this other X factor with these trucks. When you really get up on someone's bumper, that air, for whatever reason, likes to make that truck do the truck. The Darrell Waltrip called it the Icky Shuffle. They like to swing side to side when you really start pushing. And you can see that motion happening there, especially on that bottom lane. Oh, my, as he was almost spun 45 degrees sideways. The 7 doing a brilliant job on the wheel there. That was impressive.
I don't know how he saved that. Usually once you get more than I want to say 15 to 20 degrees sideways in any direction, you're usually going for a ride. Especially at almost 200 miles an hour, these trucks are near impossible to save after a certain point.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michael Rake did exactly that. He saved himself from having to rake up the pieces because that would have been a catastrophic wreck. As well, he's 3 wide with Andrew Teft in the middle just to his outside as we jump on board with him as well. This at speeds over 181 miles an hour, mind you.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like people don't tend to realize how fast that really is. I mean, one minor adjustment, one minor twitch in your steering, in any input you make, has the biggest impact on what happens to your truck out on that racetrack. That's why you find, these guys, some of them might look like they can't seem to drive in a straight line, but when you're doing 182 miles an hour, almost 190 by the end of a backstretch, just a couple degrees in your steering wheel, and all of a sudden you could be touching the outside wall, and you wouldn't even have a chance to blink.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. For you folks at home, it's that say, can't you just hold it straight? It's absolutely everything but that. If it was easy as just holding that wheel straight and the truck would go straight, I think everyone would be able to do this, but as you know, or if you've ever turned a couple laps in iRacing, that is not the case. You've got that wheel going left and right. You're sweating to the oldies. Running one of these plate races, you're getting a workout. And by the time this 94 laps is done, I'll tell you what, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes my arms actually hurt from these races. That's how much you're fighting that wheel, turning left and right, trying to keep it straight here at a place like Talladega.
Oh, they're getting a little tight for 3 wide back there at the back of that pack. 4 wide.
4 wide into the corner. Oh, they got up there into the fence. I don't think it's going to throw the caution. They keep it straight, but that's a little bit of damage there, I believe. Is that the 28 or the 25 that got into the fence?
I think that was the 26.
Thank you.
I think that was the 26. Caught a little bit of a door bang. I'm not too sure that they knew they were even 4 wide at the moment, and had little scrapies on the outside wall there, but he doesn't look too terribly damaged by any means. He should be able to slot right back into the draft and keep her going for now. Sometimes right there in the back isn't necessarily a bad spot to be. You get so much draft pull that you're able to run, halfway around the track at times where you're completely lifted off the throttle. You're saving so much gas being back there. I've utilized that to my advantage a few times, where I've just kind of, hung out back there, saved as much fuel as I could, waited for a decent-sized group to want to go and pit, and now my pit stop's half the length of theirs because I got, like 3 more gallons worth of fuel than everyone else does. Here's a good replay of what happens here. Yep. Oh, it was a 63. Oh, and the 26. It does go into the wall.
Yeah, a little bit of a game of ball there, or pit hog. Sometimes when you hit that one truck, it's so hard to stop that momentum. You don't, necessarily want to bang doors off of each other, but once that process starts with that dirty air, it's really tough to get it to cease and straighten that truck back out. And a lot of times you need to utilize the fence. In this case, luckily those drivers did a great job. That certainly could have been ugly here near the back, but we're staying lean, mean, and green here. The 26 now starting to work his way a little bit forward as truck off the pace there on the high side of the racetrack. That Chevrolet is going to have to slot back in line.
I think that is the 42 of Stidham that, unfortunately, looks like he might have just got shuffled up into that 3rd lane. He's going to have to slot back into the back of the pack and work his way back up later on. We're 3 wide in the middle. That spells trouble.
I'll tell you what, the pressure cooker, the excitometer is pegged inside the cockpit of the 83 as we're 3 lanes now, all the high-flying, high-octane racing action here on Racers Elite Network. And to the front,
they're going to take it forward.
Lee Campbell to the lead for the first time this evening. What a power move there from the 60.
Another thing that we did not mention was look at right where the 98 and the 15 are sitting. They were the better half of the back, middle back of the pack there, and not even 20 laps in, and they're already out there top 3.
Well, you can talk about them all you want. I have this thing called the broadcaster's curse, and the force is very strong. I'm sure if you ask Andrew or Kinsley Smith, they'll tell you all about it. I have killed them, like, literally, word on command a couple times, and I typically don't try to say their names very often just because I know the wrath I'll get after the race. But you're right, that Napa know-how, man, he has brought that thing to the point, and he has the 98 with him. In fact, he has migrated to the bottom of the racetrack. Typically, I know Andrew looks to run that high lane. That's where he gets a little more mojo, especially depending on how your driving style is. But that 83, for whatever reason, he seems to be content right there in the thick of it in the middle. However, he's going to lose some spots here now as he does not have any drafting help. There he goes, deploys the side draft. That'll stop the bleeding just a little bit. Now that 6 is going to be offset. He's going to have to get back down, and he does, because that's a great way to set the big one off. When you are in the middle just like that, and you have a truck offset to you just in front of you, as we still stay green with lap 21 currently on the board, we have to start thinking about sooner than later, possibly green flag pit stops in the near future.
Yeah, I think they average around I'd say at the max, I've seen people pull close to 30 laps. I think you're usually seeing them come down close to lap 25, 27, where, whoa, a lot of shuffling going on for 3 wide there.
I'll tell you, there in the 55 ride, he is the fastest senior with the handicap sticker hanging out the back of his truck. And that guy knows how to turn and burn. And I've had the privilege of calling some phenomenal races he's put together a couple of years ago. You know, I know we're not supposed to have favorites up here, but I would love to see the 55 put it in victory lane. He's always fun to talk to, especially after a good performance out there on the racetrack.
Ruth Hoke has, speaking of which, the last few series races he's done exceptionally well. I think he did have a top. I think he had second in our Thursday night series, and then I want to say I can't remember if he was top 3 Wednesday or not. He was doing pretty well Wednesday, if not, and then I think Tuesday did really well too. I can't remember, you know, for perfectness here where he finished, but I do remember Thursday night he was killing it out on that track on Michigan. You want to talk about the fastest guy out there? He was one of them, if not the fastest.
The North Carolina man is fast up in Michigan, by Irish Hills for sure. You always got to watch the 55 at that racetrack. And speaking about dialing up the mojo, look at the 15. It's now his turn to carry the torch at the front of this piece. He's got the 50 and Terry Fennell behind him. 2 longtime racers here under the Racers Elite umbrella. Those guys know how to get it done. With 15 has all smiles right now as he's got a familiar face behind him, but it's going to be 3 wide. It's going to be 3 wide here for the lead shortly. As look at the outside lane. They're getting a big time push. Those 2 trucks are glued together. They're a little bit faster that time by at the line. They are coming, and now they have 4 or 5 trucks there on the outside lane. That could be enough to pull them right up in tow with those leaders if they can stay together.
Yeah, I think once you get about 5 trucks in a line, you kind of get what's considered one of your perfect numbers in drafting, where you can kind of just go. You know, you get 2 trucks together and you can get some speed. You get 3 trucks, you're getting a little quicker. You get 4, and now you're kind of starting to burn. You get 5, anything, you know, I'd say 5 to 7, you're really moving now. You got like the perfect amount of aerodynamics. You get nose to bumper, and you can put them trucks wherever you want to be on that track.
It's almost like you got a 50 shot of nitrous oxide at your disposal when that happens, and it's a lot of fun, especially when you execute it right with the group of guys that you're working with. And if you've been in this league, you know, a little bit of time, you know who to work with and who you want to align with to make that happen. And there's been a couple times where we went from 30th to, you know, first in literally a lap and a half, just by being able to get the right group of guys together. Just like you said, 5 to 7 guys, stem to stern, and just full boogie on the outside, letting it rip tater chip, Cletus McFarlane style, as I always used to say, to go on board here now with Garrett Mitchell in the 63. He's running the fence right now, and you see that speed there, bottom of your right-hand corner of your screen. That's real-time, folks at home. That other graph, that's the current RPM that he's turning in the truck. So almost 6,900 RPM. That's just about full song. You'll see a little bit over 7,000 at some point in time to this race. But look at the outside lane. They got everything lean, mean, and green. And here they go. They're starting to make some noise on the top shelf.
Yeah, they're pulling in. They're just a little over a truck length away from Kensley Smith already, who's kind of just out there hanging by himself with the 50 pushing him. You know, it's
other thing you can do here, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, is if you're that 63 truck, you can kind of deploy that side draft, and that'll check up that bottom lane. And then when you bring that energy back to the truck in front of you, that really helps catapult those 2 trucks that you're working with to generate some extra momentum. If you can execute that right, that's another great way to generate that ever so precious momentum and energy out there on the racetrack. Look at this, side by side, stem to stern, at over 180 miles an hour. It's all Kinsley Smith, the Napa know-how man at the front. He continues to have his wingman Terry Fennell behind him, doing all the heavy pushing as we work lap 27 out of the scheduled 94 here on Racers Elite Network. everything that I expected this race to be. It's been, and look at the run the
There it
42
is.
and 60 Heaven has.
He did for, on point what you just said. Could not think of the word I wanted to use. Came down, took a little bit of side draft there from the 50, and that shot him and the 42 up. And look at that. Now they're at 1 and 2.
That's just tricks of the trade. I love super speedway racing. I spend a lot of time doing it. That's why my I rating is so bad. But you know what? I don't care. I really enjoy it. The time I have to spend on the servers, that's what I choose to do. And you learn little things like that over, with the laps you turn and the guys you hang out with. But anytime you see those little things on the racetrack and you see these drivers do it, it's so cool up here in the booth because you know it's coming. It's just a matter of when. And it's a totally different dynamic up here in the booth as we're 3 wide back there now around that 20th place position. These guys are fighting hard all over the place, and we haven't even had one green flag pit stop. However, that's going to change within the next couple laps as we're quickly approaching lap 29. Those fuel cells got to be getting low on that Sunoco Racing fuel.
I would definitely imagine. I can't see them going more than 35 at an absolute max here at a super speedway. I thought some people were maybe thinking about it. Definitely would have been thinking a little too late. You want to pay attention to anyone in that top line. If they, even if they give up some spots and just decide suddenly to drop down to that bottom line, it's a really good indicator that they're planning to come in that next time around.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The other indication is you look for single file, right? Because obviously you can't pit from that outside lane, or I would recommend trying to get down across traffic. Oh, someone just got squirted out of the hot dog.
2 people. They're going to save it. They're going to keep it straight, and they're going to recollect right with the group. I see the 13 and the 42. 18 might have gotten a little push out of line there too, I believe. They definitely got squirrely.
I know one thing, that Traxxas boy is going to have to track it all the way to the steam cleaners after that one, because he's going to need a new race suit and probably a detail on the inside of that 13 after that one. That was impressive. I thought both those trucks were destined for doom when they jumped up on the wheel and righted that thing. And if you blinked, you wouldn't even know what happened. They merged right back into traffic like it didn't even happen.
Yeah, and they didn't even merge in behind the field. They merged into the field. You got the 42 there. He's got like 5 or 6 trucks behind them. And then I think the 13 still had a truck or 2 behind him when he merged in.
Which is insane because, typically that's what you don't want to do. If you get shoved below that double yellow, you just don't want to send it back up into traffic because you lose momentum, you're slower, and then you could start a whole separate incident. But in this case, they had so much boogie under the hoodie, they just came right back up where they should have been and carried on. And that very rarely happens here at Talladega, but nonetheless, these guys make it look easy.
That they definitely are tonight, because I have seen a lot of trucks get a little squirrely there in the middle. That dirty air. I'm not a fan of being in that middle line. I take it, when it's moving, but if I can help it, I usually try to stay either down bottom, just because if there is a wreck, you got that whole infield to use. You're very safe on the bottom line. It's just not always the fastest. I don't mind the top line, but that's only if we're moving. If you start holding me up in the top line, I start getting impatient. I'm gonna move you. If you're not going on my go juice, I'm gonna make you go.
Yeah, he's gonna be knocking on the back door, trying to bunt you out of the way, is what he's saying there. If you hold him up, here we go. First
here
round
they come.
Pit stops. Everyone has to execute perfectly here. You don't want to entry too fast. You don't want to lock up that right front, that left front tire. These guys do a great job getting on the pit road. Now it's all about execution here under green flag conditions. This is probably one of the most overlooked critical areas in plate racing. Green flag pit stops. This can make or break you right here, right now.
Yeah, green flag pit stops. Pit stops in general. People think, it's the easiest part of racing. You're slowing down, you're stopping in a box, and you're getting your service done, and you're going back out on track. But there are so many things that you can do wrong coming in the pit, and let alone doing it under green. You're under so much pressure to keep as much momentum as you can have. And then on top of that, you're really pushing your limit, your speed limit there, trying to get down pit road, get into your box, and get on out and back into the race. Because the longer you're down there, the more track position you're just losing. And it's very often that first and last pit stop, you see a couple of people make the mistake of speeding or just taking a bad entry. They're always the problem child.
It's a great point, and to add on to that, as we see a massive group of cars come down pit road this time, so they're going to have the numbers here in Group 2. I mean, everything is all about how fast you can attack. How long do you wait to jam on the brakes? Can you keep your truck at the maximum speed, that threshold, without getting black flag for speeding? Then your exit. How hard can you leave without spinning your tires? And then can everyone else with you do it as good as you can so you can get out there single file? And then let's not forget, you got to keep that thing wide open up to speed. If you can do that, you're going to cycle, potentially to be that lead back. But if there's one or two guys that have a mistake, that could cost you precious amounts of time on the racetrack. And I mean, I went from being in a winning position to almost going a lap down just because the green flag pit stop cycle didn't go how I had planned. That's how critical it is.
Yeah, it is. It is so easy to make one super minor mistake that can cost you, like you said, the entire race. I mean, you think about it, just one black flag speeding penalty. Whoa, not quite clear there. He's going to chop the nose just a tad, but they're going to keep it together. Another thing,
just blood pressure, making sure it was good.
Another thing you don't ever see very often on these super speedway races, both of those packs almost merged back out of the pits and merged back into a full pack. They didn't, but they were very close. Got a couple of outliers there that are looking at going a lap down here soon, but I mean, we've got a majority of our trucks that showed up tonight that are on screen. Two separate packs, but I think that backpack's got enough trucks in it that they can catch back up to this front pack, especially if they're going to stay kind of scattered and 2-3 wide like they are right now.
Yeah, they're looking like the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds out there in formation 2 and 3 wide offset. That's definitely what that second group of trucks wants to see. They will run them down quick, fast, and in a hurry. And it looks like if my data is correct and everyone has come down pit road, it looks like Michael Rakes is going to cycle to be your point man with no surprise. Kinsley Smith behind him, Charles Jobin in third. Then you have Rob Yost Jr., another longtime Racers Elite veteran, rounding out your top 5 as they currently run right now.
Yeah, Mikey Allen cycled very well too through that pit cycle. He's in fourth. And then you got Ryan Warp, who's another regular. He cycled out to 6th. I can't remember exactly where everybody was when they pit, but quite a few names out there to keep an eye on that have been performing very well in this new season.
That's the beauty of a new season, right? Because whatever happened the last one, that is gone and out the window. Everyone's recharged and refreshed. They feel like they can go out there and contend, and that translates to the type of racing you see on the racetrack. I've seen it now multiple times, over, 3-4 years. When you come to the end of the season, you can tell that the drivers that are just spent, they're just trying to log the laps to just get over with the depression, just things not going their way, whatever bad things happen. You can tell that, or you can see that from the booth and the way they conduct business on the racetrack. But when you come back to the start of the new season, you can see that everyone is fired up, ready to rock and roll, and that's clearly what the MO is right now on the racetrack. All these guys feel like they can win it. They all feel like they deserve to be in victory lane, and that is showing in how aggressive they're being out there on the racetrack right now, which, hey, translates to a great show for everyone at home.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, not for nothing, I feel like here at Racers Elite, they put on such a good show every time I'm up here, watching them race, getting to talk about it, having someone up here with me. We're just chatting about the race. I always feel like it's such a good time. They always put on such a good show for us, and that is something I appreciate about all these drivers that show up every week.
And, sometimes multiple times a week, right? I mean, Racers Elite isn't just one series. It's not just one race. We got 6 nights of high-flying, high-octane racing action. I mean, if you're into oval anything, if you're not in Racers Elite, you should be, because they have racing literally almost every day a week. And if you like money racing special events, hey, they got that covered too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's only 2 nights a week right now that we don't host a series race, and we usually leave those open to do, the events like these where we kind of throw a race together. We get some people in here, we have some fun, and that's Saturday nights. Especially summer's out. People are going out. We're having fun. We're enjoying the nice weather. So Saturday nights is free night, but sometimes we get some nice special events like tonight, and then Monday nights. Monday nights are usually an off night, usually not a whole lot going on. Sometimes we throw something together, but you got your Sunday morning Premier Series. We've got Tuesday trucks. We've got Wednesday in the late model stocks. We've got Thursday in the Gen 4 NASCARs. We've got the Friday Super Speedway Series. We've got all types of discipline to choose from in the oval section.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. He just gave you the full breakdown. If you think you got what it takes to be out there and mess with some of the ranks, the longtime veterans, the superstars of Racers Elite, jump in the Discord, reach out to Andrew Tepp or one of these admins, and that could be you out there mixing it up the very next time they take the green flag in prime time. I'll tell you what, how about Sue Yost talking about Rob Yost, of course, in that 83 machine? You said Hail Mary, and he threw one up out there to the outside lane when you were talking. I didn't want to cut you off. I mean, he just sent it out there, send, and I don't know how he was able to get that truck clear, but he was, and now he is getting a big-time push from the 60. They are locked like the COT cars back in the mid-2000s.
Oh, that was some of the, I would say, some of the best racing to watch back
Absolutely.
then. I was young, I'm going on 27 in about a month here, so the car tomorrow, I remember it very well. I used to watch it, but I was young. I didn't know a whole lot back then, but man, were those things crazy to watch every week.
At that point in time, that was a big transition for NASCAR, and I know the car we currently have, the next gen, is an even wilder afterthought, but at that point in time, going from the Gen 4 car that we've had, around for, 20 years, or the Twisted Sister car, as they called it, that COT car was a big deal, and everyone hated how it drove. I mean, Kyle Busch, I'll never forget, it drives like crap, not to paraphrase exactly, but he said, oh my God, what a big time moment
save
for the 83. His soul left his body on that one, I guarantee it.
That one gave me goosebumps. I thought for sure we were seeing the big one.
I don't know how. That's like the 3rd or 4th time now I'm up here scratching my head saying, how are we under green flag conditions? I mean, that was some Houdini type act of God there. The 83, what a piece of driving. Yeah, if I was Rob, I'm dropping to the back too. I had to regain my composure after that one. I'm going to the back. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to let my fire suit dry out after that one. I'm gonna need a few minutes to soak in it, because
more than a fire suit after that one.
The fact that he keeps it off of the the fact he keeps it off of the wall after he saves it 9 times out of 10. You can do this, every day, racing these plate tracks and being pushed by somebody. It doesn't matter how often you do it. When you lose the car like that and you try to correct it, 9.9 out of 10 drivers, if you do save it from spinning into the bottom lane, you're usually overcorrecting and you're taking the wall out. It is
it's so easy to do that too, though.
It's extremely easy. It is.
My pulse is, not to cut you off, literally up probably 20 BPM over here on my end, just from watching that from here up in the booth, because I know what those types of incidents, those actions have down there on the racetrack. But I'll tell you what, Michael Rakes is silently doing a great job here at the point, keeping Kinsley Smith behind him. Yeah, I know we're, getting to that halfway point here sooner than later. But I mean, the 15, anytime you hit Kinsley Smith even has a whiff of that lead, he is going to go on the attack to get it. And that 7's been able to keep that 15 behind them. The only thing that the downside of this is, and you touched on this earlier, you're not getting any type of economy in the fuel mileage department. You are using every drop of fuel. Those injectors, the flow rate is maxed out on those things right now. Everyone behind you is getting better fuel economy, and that's one thing you got to make sure you keep in mind. If you don't have enough juice in the box to make it to the next green flag cycle of pit stops, that's going to throw your race out the window quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah, it is not uncommon to see a lot of our veteran drivers kind of shuffle around. They'll usually stay pretty close up to the front, but it's not uncommon to see them kind of shuffle around and maybe drop back to fifth or something and drop back a row or two and kind of hang out, save a little bit of fuel, and then charge back up to the front, take a couple more laps led, maybe do the same thing, and just let themselves shuffle around. There is it's funny to say it pays to be patient when you're racing people, but that is one thing that racing on this service in iRacing, just in general, has really taught me. It's okay to give it your all, but it is even better to sometimes just be a little bit patient.
Words of wisdom there, and clearly, those, you learn that over time. That's, time and seat out there on the racetrack, and you learn, that those important bits of information that you just mentioned, and you're absolutely right. You're saying that slower is faster. Not necessarily here at Talladega, but there's a lot of tracks out there that, that are fast tracks where that, that phrase definitely holds true. And you're right. Here at Talladega right now, the way things are setting up with a long green flag stretch, it's not going to hurt you to leave a little bit of room in between the truck in front of you, just like Kinsley Smith is doing. You can see that gap that he's leaving. Other drivers are leaving those gaps. And just as I say that, someone pulls out to make a pass to go up there on the high side. They always seem to make a fool of us up here at the booth at times. Andrew Teft right there as well. Is he thought about dialing up to the outside lane? And just as soon as we're talking about keeping it calm, seems like these drivers want to dial it back up.
They said they're listening in. They said, "Oh, we're not being aggressive enough. Let's turn it up a notch." I think what happened with Andrew Teft there, if I'm not mistaken, it looked like the truck behind him may have tagged his bumper just ever so slightly in that corner, and I think that's why he went high, just to keep the truck kind of stable and underneath of him. That's another thing you'll see with definitely people that have a lot of seat time doing this. They're really good at kind of reading those micro adjustments they have to make when they do get a push that they're either not expecting or just upsets the truck ever so slightly. That is so different than, finding someone who hasn't done this much or hasn't done it at all, and you throw them in and, tell them have at it. The experience goes a long way.
Yeah, so, you talked about, a bad push, and another thing you do a lot in plate racing that you don't do in other disciplines is you spend a lot of time mirror driving. Anywhere else, even a road course, you can talk about mirror driving. I mean, that could, that's the Achilles heel. You don't want to do that. That's how mistakes are made. Well, here at a plate track like Daytona, Talladega, you have to utilize that mirror. And, one of the reasons why, what you just touched on, you can see if a bad push is coming, especially on corner entry or exit. And if it looks like that's going to be the case, which you're right, it happened to Andrew Teft there, you can plan for that as a driver. He understood how that truck was going to react with that contact, so he set up on that trajectory to make sure that he didn't get spun or anything erratic happened around him. And you're absolutely right. That's what the 98 tracked up the racetrack. But pushes are very important. There's good pushes and bad pushes, and Teft did a great job there of taking a bad push and making sure it didn't translate to anything negative on the racetrack.
Yeah, which, again, I mean, even with all the experience in the world, sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it, and that is the unfortunate truth of plate racing here. But it does really show in the veteran drivers that we have around here when they do those micro adjustments to, save something that could have been catastrophic. I mean, they were, front couple of rows there. If Andrew got wrecked and spun, that's easily 5 more trucks that are getting involved in that, and that's on the lucky end. That's on the light end of the spectrum.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, 48 laps of the scheduled 94 currently written into the history books. We're going to step aside, pay some bills, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with all the high-flying, high-octane racing action right here on Racers Elite. Stick around.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy.
I'll send it to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Racers Elite Network. Unfortunately, as soon as we decided we were going to take a short breather, we had a little bit of trouble exiting turn 2. We had a couple of cars spinning, I think one or two into the outside wall. One of them being the famous number 10 of Kirby Wayne Scott.
Very unfortunate set of circumstances there for the 10. You know, when he used to have KFC on board, he got caught in an accident. I'm like, he's just asking to be extra crispy out there. But hey, you know, sponsor changes, still, you know, bad, unfortunate things happening to the 10, the Kirby. But here's the silver lining. We're 50 laps into this race. He's not going to lose. He's going to stay on the lead lap here. That truck, it's bent a little bit, but it's not destroyed. I don't think he's going to have any wheel damage. And with a track that's 2.66 miles long, you have a lot of time to get work done on it in the pits. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a setback for him as it's wholesale pit stops right now. It's everyone coming down for service here on lap 50.
Yeah, I definitely expected everybody to be coming down, getting some splashes of fuel, topping up, and it does seem that, unfortunately for Kirby, trouble always finds him on these super speedways.
Know that pain. Sometimes I just feel like no matter what I do, I'm taking a race car to the face at times. But again, I love plate racing. It's so much fun. Wow, that's a great pit stop there by one of the drivers out of the Ford camp. I believe it's going to be the first truck off of pit road here. As we look in at that Skittles 18 machine, obviously those numbers, those colors made famous by the late, great Kyle Busch. And, you know, I know we haven't talked about this yet, but I'm old enough to remember when Dale Earnhardt Sr. passed away at Daytona. And I never thought in my lifetime I would experience something like that again. And yet, here we are. And in fact, if you think about what's happened in the past year, Greg Biffle, we've lost. Then you had Kyle from 1320 Video. And I know he's outside of NASCAR, but he's still in the racing scene. And then Kyle Busch, of all people, at just over 40 years old. I mean, him and I are practically the same age. I'm just a little bit younger than he is. And it's just very unfortunate times for the sport. But seeing that Skittles 18 paint scheme on that truck, just every time you see it, you can't help and forget about it. Just like when I see, you know, Austin Dillon driving that number 3 font, even though it's not a, you know, that man in black scheme, just that 3, seeing that font just brings it back to mind. Taking a look back here at the replay of what happened when we cut the brake. Oh, the 45 gets a little out of shape. He comes down and just clips the 10. and sends him head on to a speed date with the outside retaining wall there. Watch this again. You slow it down.
Look at who gets away from this entire incident. Trucks wrecking everywhere around him. None other than the 15 of Kensley Smith.
Then Houdini. How do you get through that? If that was me, that truck would have been in my lap.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get it twisted. I believe it was last night the 15 of Kensley Smith was airborne and almost upside down. He usually is also caught up in these wrecks. But, man, watching this back, I can't believe he just
incredible.
The perfect place at the right time.
That's right.
Yeah, the 10 took a
10 set it face first into the outside retaining wall there. That was a pretty hard lick there for Kirby.
Yeah, that was a pretty heavy hit to that outside wall.
I'll tell you what, if it's possible, as we get ready to go back green flag race, and maybe at some point in time later in this race, if there's an on-board view from the 15, I mean, that had to be up close and personal. That had to be a game of inches between life or death and that missing that 10 machine. As those lights go out on the pace truck, it's the calm before the storm right now. It's like, there it is right there. Hello.
Oh, just ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly.
Just a little love tap. And that right there.
Me to do it, but it was like a kamikaze out of World War II. They just sign it in there. The 15 just able to flick the wheel and get out of the way in just a nick of time. Also want to thank our producer for the beautiful camera angles, sights, and sounds. He's doing a heck of a job producing this race for us, and I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely killer dual cams with the replays, dual in cams with the live spectator cams for us. But man, I mean, just that incident, back to what I was talking about before our ad break, that it just goes to show the difference in experience levels. I mean, you know, Kensley's very versed in plate tracks. And he definitely knows what's coming, what the territory entails. And to keep it clean and just put that little love tap on the 10 and nothing else, incredible.
Green flag back in the air, back to the business side of things in Earnhardt country. As those V8s come roaring back to life once again here. Getting up to speed. Kind of a little bit of a offset restart here. Really not, there's a lot of separation here near the point, and that's going to be potentially a bad thing for some of these trucks because they're not going to have the momentum. We'll have to see if everyone plays nice up here at the front, and they do with just 42 laps to go. And how about this? Fords controlling the outside and the inside lane. First time we've seen that this race. Do the Fords come to life in this one late?
And none other than the 98 of Andrew finding his way to the outside, or you know, one of the front rows in the outside line. Still working at putting that truck right where he wants to be come the end of this race. He's still got time to do it, and he is here early.
Yeah, that's almost scary if you're the rest of the competition, seeing that 98 EcoBoost F-150 large and in charge here with over 40 laps to go. That, you know, if that's me, that's already starting to get entrenched into my thought process if I'm out there on the racetrack with him. Knowing if Andrew Tepp's on, if he's feeling it, if he's vibing, and clearly he is, he's going to be a tough competitor to beat. In fact, look at all the trucks now in the inside lane, utilizing typically a sucker hole, a transportation, a teleport to the back of the field. Usually you get put in the middle. It's a one-way ticket to the back, but these guys in the trucks, they're using it to go forward, and it works, but it is high risk. But these guys, they don't care as they are full send. And look at the 15. He is the one giving the heavy lifted to the 67 of Mikey Allen. In the middle is their three-way lock for the lead. Though Andrew Tepp has to flip the throttle there, it looks like he's going to be okay there.
Almost went 4 wide for a minute there for the lead.
Tell you
But
what,
yeah,
my
just
brain froze watching that happen.
just as you were talking for a minute, I saw the 15 coming down the backstretch just start charging through the middle. I was like, oh my, look at who it is.
He hit the McNasty button in that truck, and that thing got evil. And I'm telling you, no one knows how to generate runs. When I mean runs, I'm not talking about, what you may be thinking at home. I'm talking about energy, speed in the truck. And he knows how to generate that separation that you need in order to gain speed. Oh. Wow. Are you serious?
I thought for sure they were wrecking there. Maybe it was just the camera angle, but they looked like they were trading paint on both ends of that 15.
I got nothing. I don't know how we're still green.
Neither do I. And there he goes. There he goes.
Classic
Going by himself.
There, Kingsley Smith just generating speed out of nothing. That's what that man does so well. And it's almost very Intimidator 2.0-ish, if you ask me. The way I know people used to say Senior could see the air, and obviously you can't see it, but if you have that racer intuition, that instinct, you know how to use it, and that's what that 15 does so well. He's able to just, he's going to poke the nose in there, and he's okay.
He's going to take it away from Mikey Allen. He said, no, I want to be up here. You're going to have to move out of the way.
Well, hey, he probably said, Andrew Tepp's turning it up. I got to match him, so I'm going to have to dial it up with him. And those two are side by side at over 182 miles an hour. The 45 coming up, giving him a push. They are going to basically share the drag there off of the air as they push through it. That's how the drag works and generates that extra speed when two trucks, cars, basically any pairing out here on the racetrack, even Crown Victorias, as we see with Cletus McFarland, can generate an extra 15, 20, heck, even 25 miles an hour when you start to work together in that draft. And it's a beautiful thing as Kingsley Smith, he's going to slipstream him again and find himself now leading the charge. And what's now effectively the outside lane is that third lane now dissipates, or are they starting to form up? They are forming, a third lane now. It's about to get rowdy here in Earnhardt country.
I don't think there's been a single race in these trucks coming here to Talladega that I didn't see three lanes running for, I want to say, the majority of the race.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've been in a couple of these races three wide, and when it's working how it should, it is a wonderful thing. It is just exhilarating until it goes bad.
Until it goes bad. Yeah, and that is, like we talked about with the air before, it is super easy for that to happen. When you're in the middle, you are at the mercy of not only the people to your inside and outside, but you're at the mercy of the air coming off of the trucks around you. It's a bumpy ride hanging out in the middle there. You are really fighting for your life. Oh
my. I'm sorry, I was watching the onboard camera there, and he had a truck literally roll off of his rear bumper. And typically when you change the air like that, that is a one-way ticket to a hook into the fence, and he was able to just manhandle that truck and keep it straight. Oh, there it goes at the front. We got one off into the grass. Baja.
Oh, no.
Here's the big one. How did Kingsley Smith get through that?
He was sideways for a split second there, but I didn't even see him recover. I just saw him driving on out of it.
Oh, that's heartbreaking there. There's the 888. Had such a great qualifying run. Was up front a lot that first stint in this race, and he finds himself facing the wrong way. Grabs the gear, able to roll off, though. This all happening with 35 laps to go.
I wholeheartedly expect to see at least one or two more cautions by the end of this race. We're taking the laps down. Everyone knows it's go time now. You really got to get moving and kind of set yourself up as these laps, go on by. The closer you get to the end, the closer you want to be to that money spot, and that's the top three.
And I'll tell you what, we're fuel mileage wise, is going by the numbers you gave us earlier, we're right on the edge of that window with 35 laps remaining in this one. Now, everyone knows we have overtime in our back pocket, so if we have to utilize it, to make sure we do everything to get this race completed under green flag conditions. You wouldn't have enough juice to go the distance, but right now to a natural finish, you could potentially do that if you come down here, fill up, and then come down one more time. Because remember, folks, if you pit when that pit lane first opens, you can then come around the second time and go down pit road again and top off the tank. However, if you don't, that's a 40-second hold, so you got to make sure you do it right.
Yeah, and under a pacing lap, a 40-second hold, you'll stay on the lead lap. However, it does put you right at the end of the field, and you got a whole lot to work through. And as you can see, these guys are not leaving space. They're going 3 wide. They're taking up. They said, we paid for this whole track. We're going to use the whole track.
That's right. Even the grass with some of these guys, and I've been there myself too.
Oh, I think we all have. I don't think you've really been christened into the plate track racing if you haven't either been in the grass or spinning down the back straight somewhere you weren't meant to be racing on quite yet.
Very true. Or truck surfing or car surfing when you're on top of everyone else's. The modem is breaking loose all around you. 18's going to peel off here. Going back to that instant replay, take a look at this, folks.
Oh, that was a heavy hit to the outside of the, I think that was a 67. So it starts all the way up here in the front. 83 was going to look to the inside of the 67, but he wasn't going to give him the room, and he's going to hook him and put him into the rest of the trucks behind them.
Yost applied the roast there to the rest of these guys on that one. No surprise.
Who other than the 98 of Andrew Teff to keep pedal to the metal and drive through the chaos?
It be all that back. Where's his control? I need to talk to RC about this.
His bumper might be a little dented, but
He didn't even lift. He didn't even lift.
oh.
Incredible stuff from him. He just kept his foot right in it. Reminds me of the scene out of Talladega Nights when he's sitting there drinking the macchiato while he's driving.
I ain't lifting until I see God or checkered flag.
Checkered flag, literally. What? I'll tell you what. Either he goes out there to win these races. I mean, that I will definitely say about Andrew Teff. He's not one of these league owners that goes out there and just rides around in the back and kind of is like a unofficial race control, if you will, on the racetrack. He is a competitor, and he wants to win just as bad as everyone else out there. And that's why, in moments like that, you keep your foot in it, and that's exactly what he did. There's not a scratch on that F-150.
Yeah, that is incredible. Wasn't much he was going to do about that first contact there at all. I mean, that truck kind of just slid up out of nowhere.
I mean, he had a little piece
bump
of that Raptor there, but it's almost like he used the transition there from the flatland to the banking to his advantage. It's incredible stuff.
Yeah, I mean, again, it just comes down to your experience and knowing when you can kind of keep on going through a wreck and when you really got to just put the brakes on and maybe just stop and let them all spin out.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else here is going sky ground, and Andrew Teff's just like it's another day at the office.
He's just used to the chaos by now.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, when he does wreck, he goes big. I mean, I've seen him go space shuttle status a couple times better than anybody.
Another one who I've seen definitely wreck big, but doesn't crazy wreck super often. That's going to be the 55 of Truth Hope. And it's usually during our demolition derbies, but I have seen that car look like a SpaceX test flight.
Mr. ELO. And if you've spent any time on the racetrack with Truth, you know exactly what I say ELO.
Oh, I haven't heard him drop that one in a little bit.
I still don't have it. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You're gonna have.
here we go.
Thank you. I got it now.
All right, cool. One thing I did notice before we go green, Andrew Teft opted not to pit and top up his fuel, which means he is definitely banking on there being at least one more caution to do it and give himself extra for a green-white-checkered.
I would say there's definitely a high probability of another yellow flag as we get back to the business side of things here from Earnhardt Country. Andrew Teft was on that restart. He's going to jump out almost 2 truck lengths, and you don't want to do that here, as that allows these guys behind you to get a big time run. And here comes the 60. Is he going to hang him out to dry? No, he's going to push him. Now he slides up the racetrack. They're going to try to slingshot Teft on the outside.
I did see too on that restart. We had a truck. I'm assuming maybe just a bad bump there on the restart. Getting shot right up into the outside wall. Not sure who it was, but it looks like everyone collected themselves. Everyone is back together and back to your regularly scheduled plate racing shenanigans.
That's some hard charging, hard racing up here at the front. As Andrew Teft got a big time push from the 60 of Lee Campbell, as he had a ton of momentum, spooled up, and he played it to the back of the tailgate. Thought about going to the outside there and then thought better of it. Brings that number 60 machine back down to the bottom, and just like that, Fords are P1 and P2. Actually, they own the top 3 spots right now. That Toyota now slots into that 3rd and final spot to round out your podium. And from here, boys, the octane, the energy, the pandemonium is just going to continue to climb until we determine a winner. Right now, it's the best time to be watching this race, because this is when these boys make their money.
Oh yeah, I think once that backpack there catches up, we're going to see some more 3-wide action before the end of this race. Oh, we're getting a little bit now.
I realized you meant the backpack.
yeah, the little grouping there that hadn't quite caught up, but they are caught up now. We're going 3-wide back there with Kensley Smith already.
Kirby Wainscott with the fast lap in this one, just over 51 seconds around this place. And at 2.66 miles long, 51 seconds, that is a scorching fast lap time when one of these trucks is the 60 really pushing the 98 hard.
Yeah, he almost lifted up the whole back end of that truck.
You know, I know it sounds impossible, but you absolutely can push someone so hard. It does lift those rear tires up, and when that happens, forget about it. That is an instantaneous game over. I don't care how good you are. When your back tires leave the racetrack, that's usually an end game type of move for the entire field as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have just about no control on what's going to happen. You make one minor wheel adjustment when that starts to happen, not realizing that your rear tires are up, that truck just snaps to whatever direction you started turning, and it usually doesn't end very pretty for anybody.
Speaking about ending pretty, look at this outside lane. They have decided it was time to hit the go-go button, and they have about 8-9 trucks out there ripping the wall on the top shelf of the racetrack. Check out this camera view as they come hauling into the turns 3 and 4 complex. That is real life right there, just like you would see on Amazon Prime. And that has got me fired up with these camera views tonight. I am loving it, each and every one of them, as these guys know it is go time now. Look at the fanning out 2, 3 wide, 3 wide. Furious action, 4 wide now as Andrew Teft leads that one at the line. But I bet you this inside lane, they're using that middle to their advantage. Once again, the Jurassic Park has unleashed the T-Rex, and he is side-drafting hard out of the 60, but he needs a dancing partner. The 26 needs to get up there.
Yeah, they seem to have calmed down and gone back to 3 wide there, but someone got shuffled out of position. They went 4 wide towards the back for a brief moment.
Don't look now. It's iRacing's everyone's favorite elder here on the broadcast side of things, the 55. I can't drive 55 unless you are Truth Hope. He can drive 185 and still hold it straight. as he leads the mayhem on the outside.
It's about time we saw that 55 coming up and fighting for the lead here. I expect nothing less from that Truck of Truth Hoke.
Just like you said, man, he's been doing this for so long. It's, he just plays it, like another walk in the park, another day. He's just so chill, calm, cool, and collected on the radio until someone ruffles his feathers a little bit. Then he gets fired up, but he is doing everything right now in that Chevrolet. And look at the help he is getting. You got to have a great supporting cast, and that's exactly what he has behind him. He's got the 22, he's got the 15, and if I'm out there in Racers Elite at a plate race, that's ideally, and Wade Scott, he's got the all-star crew there doing all the heavy lifting on the outside lane. Watch these guys really dial up some mile an hour and challenge Tef for this lead. Don't forget, that 98 still ripped to the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh no, this 67 gets hooked again. I couldn't quite see who got involved with him in that one, but
he left his mark all right.
Yes, he did. He was unfortunately the one that took a bad bumper, a little bit of a hook there on our last major wreck.
It's almost like deja vu all over again for the 67. Is when I caught a glimpse of that unfolding on the racetrack, the trajectory on that truck told me it looked like he got hooked there again, just as you alluded to. We'll have to wait till the instant replay to know for certain, but this happening with 26 laps to go, and we know now for certain if you come down and pit this time, you are good to go the distance from here. Should we go green the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think that is exactly what Andrew Teft was waiting for. Nothing better than being able to pit. No, it's the last pit stop you need to make. If I'm not mistaken, this might even be the last pit stop you need to make, even for a Green-White-Checkered, as long as you're maybe saving just a dash coming around on these pace laps if we get another caution. Well, we would have another caution if we end up using any of our Green-White-Checkered overtime finishes.
So if my math is correct here, I think you might have enough just for one as we go back to the replay.
Yeah, you might be able to squeeze two in if... Oh, yeah, that is exactly what I thought happened there. I saw the 15 kind of tag the wall. Yep. He tagged the wall, lost some momentum, and it just creates an accordion effect. And a couple trucks back, they're bumping and banging.
That replay there is a great example of, it's not sometimes where the fuse gets lit, it's where the bomb goes off as we jump on board now. And this wreck's going to happen, 3 to 4 positions in front of, this group of trucks right here. But unfortunately, that's where all that energy, came together and had a negative reaction. And unfortunately, it's some of the same guys with the same fate here. But again, able to grab a gear and roll off. As we now see that 67 with some repairs being done, sends it back out on the racetrack. And as you said earlier, still on the lead lap. And that's one of the benefits to racing at a speedway that's 2.66 miles in length.
Yeah, which...
While we're under caution, also got to thank all of our sponsors, all the men and women behind the scenes that make Racers Elite what it is, and able to provide all of this high-flying, high-octane racing action. You cannot do it without a setup shop partner like Maconi Setup Shop. Whether you're chasing more speed, better consistency, or, hey, just trying to feel more confident every time you hit the track, Maconi Setup Shop gives iRacing drivers the tools they need to compete at a higher level. Right now, subscribers can get their first month free with NASCAR, Oval, and Setups with the subscriptions. Maconi Setup Shop, our setups, your victories. Visit MaconiSetupShop.com to learn more. I also want to thank them once again for being tonight's featured race sponsor right here on Racers Elite Network.
I will say, we have ran these a few times, and they're noticeably comfortable to drive in. I think they're probably my favorite whenever we do use a Maconi setup for any of our races. They just feel very, very comfortable. You feel just able to push the car. You just find time that you didn't know was there. It's nice.
See, now you're speaking my language. You're talking about being confident behind the wheel of that truck. And confidence, when you put me and confidence together out there on the racetrack, see, you're selling me some setups now. You're doing a great job there, bud.
Confidence is half the equation to winning a race. I mean,
That's
you
true.
definitely can't go out there and just sit there and expect to finish last and then all of a sudden end up first. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times where, you might not be thinking halfway through a race, you're like, it's just not going my way tonight. If I can get a P10, I'll be happy. And then next thing you know, you're top 3 and you're like, wow, how did this happen? But you can't go into a race expecting bad results and get good results. You got to be confident in what you're doing out there. I mean, that is half of your equation to winning a race.
I can't tell you how many times I have had a bad day and I'm like, I'm going to go race, and that was just a bad idea.
It always seems to be a bad race when that happens.
On nights where I've had bad days, just continue on the iRacing side of things. You have to have a good mindset. You have to be confident. Absolutely. Well said.
You definitely got to get yourself psyched up. You gotta really be in the right headspace and the right mood to go and just get it done. Have fun. Whether it's finding a song that gets you amped up, watching a video of something, whatever. If you're going out on track, find something. Get yourself amped up. Get confident, because you never know. That confidence is key.
We just do what Truth Hope does. Play a little Saliva, click, click, boom, some Limp Biscuit, and hey, you twist it and send the biscuit out there and you win races.
Tell you what, you're speaking my language now. I love all my rock genres, alternatives, all of them.
Hey, there's nothing better than new metal to get rowdy for some iRacing. And just as these guys get ready to go back, green flag racing, Cyber, liking the front of that truck on that 60s. He's going to restart here in the outside lane. Take it away, buddy.
We're going to rack them up and try it again. 24 laps to go here at Talladega. Let's see if they can get it done in one more try.
Green flag back in the air and back on the loud pedal is the 98. He's got the pleasure pedal pressed to the floorboards, getting that thing up to speed. Does a better job of not shooting out in front this time. That's going to keep the field in check behind him. And it's going to be a side-by-side John Force special off of the turns 1 and 2 complex. Look at the momentum on the high side of the racetrack. Where did they come from?
So much speed. I mean, there's so much extra momentum there that they're already 3 wide, and we haven't even done 1 lap since the restart. These boys are fired up right now.
It was a big time restart there from that inside lane, but look at the third lane. They said, hey, if you can do it, we can do it better. And for the first time this race, the guys up top ripping the fence. They're going to lead this time at the line. No, Tef takes it back at the last possible second as they were less than 1,000 separated for the lead that time at the line. Can you tell it's getting down to just 20 laps to go? We're basically on the cusp of it, and we're 3 lanes abreast here on Racers Elite Network, and it's 2 Fords taking on the Chevrolet on the inside. Tef, the AAA to Jimmy B. Remember, he got wrecked earlier. He has recovered, he has rebounded, and he is trying to go back and take what was his at the start of this race. In fact, he was the leader going into the turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, there is no better feeling than being in a wreck, 15, 20 laps prior, getting that truck kind of fixed up, whether you're using your fast repair, spending time in the pits. Whoa, we're getting a little squirrely. Going 4 wide.
Small wide.
Getting straightened back out. We're back to 3 wide. They're settling down a little bit. But there's no better feeling than just being involved in a wreck and then finding yourself leading one of the lines and, fighting for the lead again.
I'll tell you what, he always needs to mail a gift basket to that guy in that green truck behind him, because he burped the throttle. He let him in. And if he didn't, that could have been catastrophic. The driver of that 7 machine caught him a big-time break there.
Yeah, he did. And that is some serious courtesy to see on a super speedway. I mean, I've only done that a couple of times, and that's usually because it's someone that I know. One, I respect them, and two, I hope that they are willing to give me the same, same buffer if I ever need it or when I need it. But it is very rare that anybody is going to lift for you here at a plate track. Momentum. It is so important.
Just breaking the throttle, right? I mean, that costs you precious, as you said, momentum. That is everything. That is gold platinum out here on the Speedway. As that 60 working once again with Kinsley Smith on the high side lane. And look at how they just walk away from the two trucks behind them that aren't connected. You can see that draft, that effect, the benefit right here with this great camera angle as we are 3 wide once again here at the point. Is the Napa man looking like Michael Waltrip back in the early 2000s during his dominating time at DEI when those two, that 15 and that 8, were so strong. It brings me back every time I see Kinsley Smith here on the iRacing side of things in that 15 paint scheme, just watching him out there doing what he does. It brings me back to that era every single time. Those guys on the outside are stem to stern. They were pushing their 4 deep just moments ago. They are really trying to get everything they can out of the mile-an-hour department. Because remember, folks, that outside lane, that's the longest distance around this place. So you got to make up for that in mile an hour, even though the inside lane is the shortest distance. Oh, the 15 almost gets spun off of the 60. I'm going to take a moment and catch my breath here, but that was close.
Yeah, I mean, just like you were saying with the nostalgia, I mean, racing in the Gen 4s, oh boy, these boys are getting rowdy right now. There goes the 41. He's spinning. He's coming back up track. Oh, he's going to collect a... Whoa.
He's going to go, oh my.
That was a ride. I sure hope my man down there is not racing in a motion rig, because that would have been quite a bumpy...
He would have been saying, honey, can you get my spleen off the desk, please?
That was a ride. I haven't seen these trucks flip like that in a while. That was almost as intense as the flip wreck that I saw in the O'Reilly series earlier this year at Kansas. I cannot remember the driver's name. But, thankfully we're in sim.
He served up breakfast, lunch, and dinner with that head. I mean, you couldn't tee it up any better. And you saw the end result. It sent that truck flipping, barrel rolling across the racetrack like it was a paperweight.
Yeah, I mean, that was insane. And he landed back on all fours. He's driving. He's driving back around the track.
Hey, that's Earnhardt Sr., 2000 at Talladega, when he flipped over, got the ambulance, said, wait a minute, fire that thing up, got out there, went back, hit it, drove it back to pit late.
I unfortunately was too young to remember that race, but I have had the fortunate luck of having that come across my feeds on social media and just getting to see that. And that is definitely one of those things that lives rent-free in my mind. I will always remember seeing that clip for the first time. That was funny.
Rent-free, that's a great way to put it. That's the benefits of, the internet technology. 20 years ago, you didn't have that. As now just 17 laps to go in this one. Go back to that instant replay. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. It gets skinny, and then it just ran out of room, and then watch this. Boom! Shaka-laka, right out of NBA Jam, and after that hit gets administered, and he goes right round helicopter mode, and he is counting stars when that truck lands on its wheels. I never get that lucky, though.
I always seem to slide down the track on my roof, and then I got a tow for a few minutes.
If you're the driver of that truck, I guarantee you it was slow motion. I know this truck's coming. I'm going to hit it. There's nothing I can do about it.
That sometimes is the worst feeling, right next to being in the 41 shoes right here, where you get spun and you're at the mercy of where it takes you. I mean, there is nothing you're doing different here to change where you're gonna hit, if you're gonna get hit, and you're just along for the ride. And there is nothing that sucks more than feeling so helpless in that situation, but a close second is being the truck that unfortunately slams into the guy that's sliding around.
Because, that's a hard impact for both parties in this case. The one doing the shellacking, that hurts, and then this guy here, as you said, if he has a motion rig, he's really got to get himself put back together.
Yeah, he's going to be taking an ibuprofen or two after this race if that's the case. That's one bumpy ride.
Not to cut you off, but I actually have a couple of friends of mine that have broke their thumbs from these, these new direct drive wheels. They'll put their thumbs inside the holes, and they'll take a wicked shot like that, and they've actually broken fingers. So you have to be careful. You can get a sim racing injury. It has happened. It is possible.
It definitely does exist. These direct drive wheels are no joke. I have one of myself. Thankfully, before I got into any type of racing, I did race growing up on dirt. I raced quarter midgets. It was a lot of fun. Best years of my life by far. I reminisce on those all the time. But one thing they teach you when you're going in and you're racing for real, when you get into an accident, you'll see it. Anyone here who watches actual NASCAR, you'll see it in real veteran drivers. I think Joey Logano is really good about it. But they get spun or they lose control of the car. You see them cross their arms and put them up to their chest. That's exactly what you want to do. You do not want to be fighting that wheel. That thing will mess you up. And it hurts.
You'll see those drivers put out to the point of no return. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. You'll see those drivers hold on the wheel to what I call the point of no return. Then, just like you said, they grab those arms, they just bring them in and let the chaos unfold around them, and hopefully when they come to rest, they can at least fire up and drive away. As we're still under caution here, 16 laps to go. You want to talk about getting antsy? I bet there's no one more out there on the racetrack that wants to see this racetrack stay green than the driver of that 98, Andrew Teft. And when you're out there going 183 plus miles an hour, pace speed feels like an eternity.
Oh my God, it feels like it takes forever to get back around the track just to have them tell you two to green, and then you're like, oh, I got to do this 2 more times, and you definitely get a good moment to relax, collect yourself. If you're running mid pack and it's intense, like it has been all night for a lot of these guys. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are really sweating. We're in early June, most places it's getting pretty warm.
I'll tell you what, the rocking chair is getting warm there in the 55 camp because he is right there, right where you want to be. If I'm going to restart this race with 15 laps to go, I do not want to be the leader. I'll pay you to take the lead from me. I'll go back to 10th. That's how much I hate restarting, being the leader, especially on the inside lane. That is a lose-lose situation when you're 15 laps to go, or even in a green-white-checkered overtime, forget about it. The odds are stacked against you. The 55 ride is right where I want to be because really, he's the master manipulator here. He controls how good of a restart the 98 gets or doesn't. Does he check up everyone else behind him to take that energy and slingshot around the 98? You have so many options when you're Truth Hope versus Andrew Teft, or the 63 in this case. I think that's a great position to be in. Kirby Wainscott also has a great position in this restart with 15 laps to go. Let's see if some of these guys that are a little further back with the Triple Eights, the Jurassic Park ride there, if they can make some noise here near the end of this thing and come away and steal one, if you will.
I mean, with 15 laps to go, once we go green, 14, I wouldn't be surprised to see someone like I'm not sure if the 42 is on the lead lap. However, someone even as far back as him, I wouldn't be surprised to see him, up out front by the time we get down to that white flag. Things move so fast at this track, not even just physically the cars, but just the position hopping that you see. It is insane to see how fast someone can be at the back of the pack on a restart, and the next thing you know, they're fighting for first place.
I'll tell you what, who's fighting for first place right now, Andrew Teft, getting a big time push there from the 55 ride at Truth Hope, and they are doing a great job. Kirby Wainscott trying to get up there to support as well. They're going to shoot the gap there on the bottom, and they're going to edge out the high lane, but here they come back on the high side of the racetrack. They're going to have 4 trucks tandem, possibly 5, and look at them, mile an hour back on the high side. 1 truck, now 2, is going to shoot out to the high side, but it's not going to be enough. Is the 166 of Charles Jobin, where did you come from? Gonna take the lead into 3 and 4.
Man, I mean, there's just so much going on that I'm trying to pay attention and call things out when I see them, but I'm seeing so many people change lanes, and I mean, we've got the 67 of Mikey Allen who just got absolutely demolished in 2 of the last 3 cautions that we had, and he's now fighting for the lead on the top lane, being pushed by Kensley Smith. I don't even know where he restarted.
I don't know where he came from. I just, I said before the restart, can one of these guys really haven't talked about come up here and make a difference? And sure enough, the 166 answered the call as he's running P2. And look at the outside lane. They have found the supercharger. They've hit the nitrous, and the 67 gets catapulted. The 67 almost gets spun by a 15. You couldn't fit a sheet of paper between those two, and yet we stay green. Now Kinsley.
Oh, no.
Run, and the bomb explodes, and here is the big one at Talladega with 13 laps to go. Everyone virtually involved.
Yeah, that was I think that's our second largest crash tonight. That actually might have more trucks than our first big one. That's going to be a close one. The 5 of Puffenbarger I did see almost launch into the air. Air got underneath of his truck, and he was 2, maybe 1 wheel touching the ground for a split second there on the hood of another car.
Hey,
that truck went for a ride.
He knows how to get some airtime in that 5, right? And, there's a driver there that doesn't get enough credit on his super speedway abilities. I've been around him and on the racetrack with him a lot. He knows how to get it done here in that Chevrolet as well. That 5, hey, you know what? If you're on the lead lap, you're not out of this race. You're still north of 10 laps to go. And I'll tell you what, guys, for as bad as that wreck looked with trucks just scattering everywhere, a lot of these guys still have all 4 fenders on it. I mean, we still could be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean, even the 41 didn't look absolutely terrible, and he was flying. He was barrel rolling down the track for good few hundred feet there.
Yeah, myself. I know he was going. He was heating asphalt, but still, that truck is looking pretty good.
Yeah, definitely very impressive. And I mean, the one thing that I think really helps these guys when they wreck like that, it sucks when you're the guy that goes into the wall, but when you're the ones kind of slamming through the infield, a lot of times everyone's moving so fast that like once you kind of touch and you lock into another truck, the actual initial hit of it isn't so heavy. It's just you get stuck together, and then you're kind of slowing down together.
That's a great point. So, while it looks bad when you have, grass flying everywhere and trucks bouncing off each other, you're still continuing to move. So that kinetic energy is not coming to a screeching halt. When you're going fast and you come to a dead stop, to keep it simple, that's when bad things happen. That's when the wheel damage occurs. That's when your spleen ends up on your wife's mattress or wherever it goes. That's when bad things happen. As long as you continue to move and ricochet and bounce and even end over end, I mean, that's still not as bad as coming to a screeching halt when game over. Remember, I believe no fast repairs out there on the racetrack tonight, or I take that back.
Should be
one this evening. Thank you for that. As we go back to this replay, look at this, folks.
Just a little bit of a bump on the 888 there, and he gets kind of sent up into the quarter panel of the 7, and chaos ensues from the rest. I mean, they just stack up so fast. There's so much speed and energy that gets transferred right there. I mean, one gets sideways, then it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more cars are just trying to rally to. Oh, that was that is a hit. 83 going for a wall ride there. I don't think he got the memo that we were iRacing instead of Tony Hawk Pro Skater tonight.
I was just going to say, you read my mind. I mean, he just fakey 540 the inside saber barrier there. Watch this, folks. I mean, a couple trucks thought about taking flight, and then the 83, oh my.
That is a hit. I mean, that... Again,
remember, the safety mechanics of these trucks, right? They're not designed the safety of taking a body shot on your side at over 180 miles an hour. That's not how the safety measures are implied to these trucks. They're designed for for being right side up, first of all, and having either you, hit other objects or cars hitting you, vice versa, not being over on your side in Tony Hawk mode, going dead into a safer barrier at 180 miles an hour.
I was going to say, you're slamming the floor pan into the wall, not your crash bars, not your roll cage, right. The floor pan. I am not sure how bad one of them trucks would dissipate hitting the wall at that angle in real life, and I hope that none of us ever have to see that, or
that's
in general get to see that, because that is not a hit that them trucks are built for.
No, everything important inside that race truck, i.e. the driver, all bolted really to that floor pan. Obviously there's a roll cage in there, things like that, but a lot of critical, important parts, including the driver, all bolted, secured in some way, shape, or form to that floor plan of that truck. And that's what took the brunt of that lick. If that was on the real life side of things, that probably would have been a nasty injury.
Oh yeah, that is. There's only so much reinforcing you could do to a real vehicle to take a hit from the underside of the vehicle.
Not to mention the drive shaft. What happens to that in that case? That could have been shot like a javelin.
Oh my, yeah.
Projectile, that could be deadly. Right then and there is. We're just, if you can believe it, 10 laps to go in this one.
I've seen pickup trucks in real life that have the front of the drive shaft fall out where the U-joint fails and then catch a pothole, and it just kind of rips the whole truck in half.
Or launches it in the air, one or the other.
Yeah. It usually does a little bit of a mix of the two of them and kind of launches the whole back of the truck up, and then it kind of just splits it in half because of the force. It is a wicked kind of hit.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's about to get evil here in Earnhardt country. I'm not sure if the lights are still on that pace truck, but I think they're off right now. I think we're getting ready to go back green flag racing. This is going to be Saturday night shootout style, local track, right? What you would see to close it out, local dirt track. And these guys are going to match the intensity 2 by 2, side by side. Let's get ready to go. Last chance qualifier mode here at Talladega Superspeedway. Flag man, give me that green flag. Let's get back to the booty. Let's go. Green flag in the air, and wasting no time is that white lightning. Look at the jump that he got. He got a restart of the ages. He's going to clear to the high side. No, he's going to stay back to the bottom. If I was him, I'm coming up to try to block this run from Kensley Smith.
There he goes.
Stick with him. I am impressed. He restarted so good. He didn't get a slip. I figured he was going to be a sitting duck there. But the 15 still going to overtake him on the outside, but just barely. Is now here comes Tefton Company on the bottom to pick up the 166. Charles was vibing on that restart. You know what, Charles? From now on, you're Charles vibing in the 166. That's the restart, buddy.
A name that we haven't talked about in quite some time. I mentioned him when we were just talking about, people in general making crazy moves to get to the front, come to the end of this race. Jonathan Stidham, who qualified second, is now back in second after going several laps down. Now moving to the inside of Kensley Smith. He's going to look for the race lead with 8 laps to go.
8 laps to go, and they are scraping the fence. There's cars going everywhere, which way they should be going, but we're still green flag racing as Jonathan Stidham battling for the lead. And John, you heard who called your name. It wasn't me, so if something bad happens, it was not my fault. I just want to throw that disclaimer out there. Now back to the racing with 8 laps to go. The 57 all over Kensley Smith. Blake Viking, where did he come from? That Toyota, like the marketing slogan says, let's go places. He's taking that TRD powered machine to the front as we're going to be just 7 more times around this place at the line here. Is it's going to be a battle between Kensley Smith and your pole sitter at the line, coming through the tri-overload. Energy going to be on the bottom lane as they were just about gridlocked for the lead at the line.
I think that one is actually going to go to the 42 as Stidham. It looked like he crossed the line ever so slightly ahead of the 15, so he will get a lap lead in this race if he hasn't yet. Actually, I think he got the lead for quite a few earlier.
They
I
may
think he
have
was the
been
one we were
5
talking
wide
about
there.
not
Cut
wanting to
you
be
off.
up
I'm
front.
sorry. I apologize for that. They were
Oh, you're
5
good.
wide, I think, coming off a turn 2 there. This is getting rowdy in real time. My grandma's sitting next to me. She's got her Pat's blue ribbon in one hand. She is throwing popcorn up in the air, and she's a huge Kinsley Smith fan. So, Grandma, calm down. I'm trying to call a race. She is wanting to see this 15 get back in victory lane, and he is putting on a performance right now. Look at how tight these lanes have, gotten. They are just now inches off of each other. Earlier in the race, we've seen all that separation, the spacing, that is now gone out the window. It is up close and personal at over 183 miles an hour. Inches from disaster with every single turn they make out here on the racetrack. And it is this pack right here that's going to more than likely contend for the win. Is the 67 doing a better job of pushing the 15 than the 166, or excuse me, the 67 of Mikey Allen on the inside. Andrew Tept, if you're watching him, he's the 3rd truck in line on the bottom. Look for him to move to the top when it's time for him to go. Is Kinsley Smith controls this race with just 5 laps to go at the line. Offset push, and the 15 hold on to it. Incredible driving from Kinsley Smith.
That is a hard bump to hold on to, and
Yes, it is.
a really hard checkup for the rest of the lanes to not lose it. That was a lot of energy transferred and accordioned back on that top lane.
Yeah, I thought we were going to possibly see another big wreck there, but we stay green flag, and we're still 2 and 3 wide at times here at the point. Now the Fords are getting in on the action. Another lane change. Kinsley trying to control it. He almost do the
there they go.
There's a 3-car. There are 3 trucks just went into them. We're going to stay. Oh, there's the caution. I thought we were staying green for. Oh man, that looks nasty.
Oh,
yeah,
I see the
flying
triple
everywhere.
8, the 45 involved again.
Kinsley Smith is going to remain your leader here as Carnage strikes again at Talladega. As you caught a glimpse of that just before the camera change. It looked like 3 trucks were going head on, or just about head on, into the outside catch fence there.
Yeah, that was
that
gnarly
that
wreck.
bad energy, as you like to say.
Yeah, just that energy transfer from the leader moving up to block the run from the top lane. They have so much momentum and such a run compared to what Kinsley has, being stuck out front with all the air on the front of his truck, that once he goes up there and they bump, it's going to slow the first couple trucks in that lane down just a tad. And if they're all close enough, I mean, it's just going to accordion on back. It is the unfortunate realities of plate racing. I mean, you got to be willing to risk it. And as a leader, that means going up for a block, and you might just get spun for it. That's just the unfortunate truth. But he held on to it. He tagged the wall a little bit. He traded some paint, and unfortunately, the guys behind got the worst end of that bargain.
In that situation there, unfortunately, something has to break, something has to give. And that was that massive explosion that happened a few trucks behind the 15 there. As we go back to the instant replay, watch what happens up front here with the 15 and the 7. This is going to set everything in motion. There's the checkup. There's the contact. The 16 is going to get into the 888. He's going to ricochet. That's your bomb going off right there. The 5's going to come down across the nose of the 26. And all your escape arteries now are clogged. You have basically gridlock on the top shelf of the racetrack. You're holding on for dear life at this point. If you can see how that incident just transfers its energy, its effect all the way through the field on back, it's crazy to watch it, especially as you slow it down, because you can. Okay, that's an arc and break of the ages. Oh my!
Yeah, it was. That was a little unfortunate. Someone wasn't paying attention to where the trucks were sliding. Got to remember, it's Talladega. Them banking, or that banking is so steep. You know, them trucks are gonna slide back down.
Everything's coming down.
Once they lose that speed, you got to go up and around. You got to remember to go up and around. It's very, very habitable to want to try to cut underneath when you got all that speed. and it doesn't tend to fare too well here at Talladega or Daytona.
No, it
Bristol's
doesn't.
another one.
I mean, I get it. And this may invoke overtime here.
It
There's
will.
just ticks on the scoreboard.
This will bring us to our first out of 3 attempts at a Green-White-Checkered to finish this race under green.
I mean, did we really expect to get this race done under its scheduled distance? I mean, it's Talladega, it's Racers Elite, it's right on a Saturday night. Did we? Come on. You knew it was going to be all out in overtime here with the 15 machine of Kinsley Smith. And I'm telling you, I think Michael Waltrip, every time I see those colors, that scheme on that truck, and it just brings me back to those days when it was just NASCAR was at its peak, and it was such a great time to be alive. Yeah, I was a small boy, but I remember it like it was yesterday. And I'll tell you what.
You got to see it out there on them Gen 4 cars. That'll really bring you back.
No, nothing will ever top July of 2001 at Daytona.
Oh, that was a time to be alive, I'm sure. I was
there. It just... words cannot do it any justice. It was borderline magical what happened there, and just the noise. I mean, you couldn't even hear the cars, and those Gen 4 cars were so loud. I mean, they sounded way better than the current cars, to keep it simple. And yet, when you had a packed, sold-out Daytona Speedway, Super Speedway, everyone roaring at the top of their lungs, it was just something like you see in the movies, as those lights do now go out on the pace truck, and Kinsley Smith is going to try to notch another one on his belt. And I'm still trying to get one, and he's got more than I can count here in that 15 machine. That's what makes Kinsley Smith. Feeling. He's got a lot of fierce competition around him. That 22 and that Ford, he's been strong the second half of the race. And as you mentioned it just a little bit ago, Jonathan Stidham, he is back in it. Your pole sitter is clawed and scratched his way back into this race, and it's overtime. So
and if I'm going to be honest,
that's as good as mine. Now, let's see how this shakes out.
If I'm going to be honest, I think we're sitting right where Stidham is, or sitting right where that green truck behind Kinsley is. I forget which number that was on that one. That's the spot I want to be coming into a restart. The run you can generate, the 7. The run you can generate drafting the guy in front of you to go for an all-out Hail Mary right at the end coming to the line. It's usually someone in the second row that pulls out, makes the pass, and gets the win.
There's a couple of restarts ago. I was talking about how, Truth Hope was in that catbird seat, as Darrell Waltrip used to say back when he was on Fox. Right now, Michael Rakes is in a great spot. Let's see if he can go Hail Mary, not Fail Mary. That would be very bad. We want a successful Hail Mary here. We want to finish this race under green flag conditions. The 7 machine is going to restart P2 on the outside lane here, as Kinsley Smith going to let to restart in the outside lane as we go overtime racing here from Talladega, man.
Let's rack them on up and try our first overtime. I think we've got a decent shot that they make it to the white flag, but I think chaos is happening as that white flag drops. I think we're going to see trucks sideways as the white flag comes out, and I think we're only going to have a small group racing for the win here tonight.
These guys anticipated that restart so much, no one actually got going, and it's the most discombobulated restart of the entire race. But the 2 guys at the point on the high and the low side, they got it right. Actually, it's 3-by-3 now. It's a 3-way battle on the top and the bottom lane. As it's side by side, door to door, down the super stretch here in overtime. Do they get back to the white flag? Look at the squeeze job. How did the 166 fit himself in there? Some brilliant driving. The 7 all over of Kinsley Smith as he continues to lead from the middle lane. 2, 3, and 4.
The 7 is sitting in the perfect spot right now. He has all the space in the world. If he generates that run next lap, he's gone. There's not a whole lot that Kinsley's going to be able to do about it if he can't block it in time.
Yeah, not unless you have a Saturn V rocket taped to the back of your truck in the form of that number 7 of Michael Riggs. I didn't know he finished like that, but I see you, bro. Oh, my God.
They are walking away from the pack, and there he goes. He's making his move now.
brakes, is trying to go absolutely superhero mode on the racetrack and dethrone the best man in Racers Elite with a big-time move. Is he going to get the help? However, they're going to go with Kinsley. Now here comes the 166. This Wrecking breaks out behind him, the 42 below the
Four wide.
line. 4 wide into 3 and 4. Take it away, buddy. I am out of gas.
Oh, they're door banging. We're 4 wide. The 166 has found himself in the lead by himself. The outside lane gets squirrely.
Kinsley almost
Kinsley.
wrecks. And the 166 is going to come out of the woods, and he's going to sneak one and take one away from these guys coming to the line. The 166 steals one at Talladega. One of the most thrilling finishes as they're still wrecking behind him. And go figure, Charles Fiben wins this straight because you do what I said you did earlier, buddy. You were vibing out there when it mattered. Welcome to Victory Lane. Charles Fiben, you are a winner in Racers Elite. I'm not sure if that's his first race win here in, oh my God, I can't even think right now. What a finish that was. That was wild.
I believe this was a debut race for Jobin. I think he just joined to hop into this race today.
He got a walk-off win.
I think there's another Charles that races here that has a very similar name.
That's right. What a story that would be, Charles.
So we have a Joplin and a Jobin.
Well, that is really close.
they could not be any closer in name.
No, they could be.
So Jobin is showing up for his debut race, and he's going to bring it home to Victory Lane at Talladega.
With a walk-off win in Racers Elite at Talladega. Are you kidding me? Well, man, get the rest of the good out of those good years. You don't need them anymore. It's Charles Jobin vibing inside that race truck with the right moves at the right time and brings it home with a dub. Incredible stuff here in overtime. Man, what a finish. And hey, guess what, guys? We ain't done yet. Now we get to interview these drivers that put on the show. Going to talk to the top 3. And, Charles has got to be fired up after that one, you would think.
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, they were shuffling around and switching positions left and right. I couldn't even figure out who was coming from where. These guys always put on a show.
Up in the broadcast booth to cover that overtime. That wouldn't have been enough. That was absolutely next level. Boy, what a rush when we get that rowdy out there on the racetrack. That's why I love doing this. Finishes just like that.
Oh, it's been amazing. And I mean, even just this week was incredible here, getting the broadcast for the late models on Wednesday. We had a finish that was side by side. Down to the wire. That was a crazy one. It's always something impressive and great to watch around here. I love it.
Absolutely. As that's going to obviously conclude the end of this portion of the race. However, we're going to shift gears now into post-race mode and talk to some of these drivers. In fact, your top 3 finishers, I believe that is still the routine here in Racers Elite. As I pretty much make my comeback, other than that hill climb race, which was a lot of fun. But this is my first time back here in the booth at Racers Elite under normal league circumstances, if you will. And it has been a blast. Such a pleasure to work with you guys. Been a heck of a ride. Hopefully we get to do this again soon. But hey, I still can't wait to talk to some of these guys. They gotta be, as I said, up.
Yeah, we're gonna start with P3. Who was our P3 finisher? Mikey Allen in the 67, after several unfortunate events, still manages and finds a way to bring it home in P3. Mikey, it is Josh and Matt up in the booth. You got us?
How you doing?
How's it going, buddy? How's it feel to bring it home P3? I mean, what a drive. Got wrecked a couple of times. I mean, just all over the place this race for you in from going to the back of the field, back up to the front, to the back, to the front again. Walk me through, I guess, that last restart.
Well, my truck really worked really good on the high side there. I really had great runs on the high side. It was a back and forth day for me, obviously, in the wrecks there a couple of times, but kept getting my way to the front there, kept working with some good people up there. It was good. That last restart, me and Sid were going to hook up together there and just try to get out front, but I got a push from behind, pushed me up top, and I just decided to stay middle there and bring it home third.
I'm glad to see that it worked out for you, especially after the luck that you had. I mean, it's, again, just some incredible driving. Great race to watch. Matt, you got any questions, comments?
Foremost, what a drive and a performance out of you this evening here. Talladega necessarily wasn't nice to you over the course of that race, but you found a way to keep fighting and put yourself in the right place at the right time. How did you find a way through all the chaos and that pandemonium on that overtime restart? I mean, that was some intense racing. There was trucks flying everywhere, and yet when the smoke cleared, there you are, right where you needed to be to come home P3.
Yeah, I just came up and I stuck it right there in the middle. I just held it right there. I'm like, I'm not moving. I'm staying right here. I knew Kensley was going to be up there, so I was going to try to follow him as much as I could. But once we lost him, I'm like, I'm just staying in the middle.
You know, that middle lane seemed like if you were willing to risk it, there was some speed there. You were able to make some big-time moves in the middle. What was that the case down there on the racetrack?
Yeah, it seemed like the bottom line would check up a lot coming off those corners. So I kind of used the push off the corner there to stay in the middle and try to center that truck a little bit more to the right side to keep it steady so it didn't drift out on you. But yeah, if you did that correctly, you definitely got a good run there.
Hey, thank you for the feedback and analysis, Mikey. I appreciate it. Hey, before we cut you loose, man, who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done on the 67? The floor is yours.
First off, I'd like to thank Jess, my girlfriend, for all she's done to let me do this thing. Also, I'd like to thank HD Motorsports. My partner in crime, Aaron Roth, couldn't be here tonight, but I'm sure he'll be back. He loves these super speedways. Also, I got some sponsors here. I got Caitlin Osborne's short track racing videos, Digital Grid Apparel, and Ginger Signs Designs that designed my beautiful truck that I have tonight.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, driver of the 67. Mikey Allen has the right moves at the right time. He comes home P3 with a phenomenal performance here tonight in primetime. Going to send it back topside to you up in the booth, Josh.
All right. Next, we're going to have a chat here with Brandon Biddy in the 22, bringing it home P2. Wow, couldn't figure out how I wanted to say that. Brandon, it is Josh and Matt up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you loud and clear.
Hey, man, I mean, spectacular run, right place, right time. You know, it was a crazy race. I am having a hard time remembering where everyone started after all of the chaos that ensued after that green-white-checkered restart.
Yeah.
But, you know, how did you find yourself the P2?
I forgot that the leader gets choice, so I was very excited about starting on the outside. And then he said,
"Okay, you did start.
Yeah,
you did start.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was 8th on that one, and then after that, I was P2, and I was going to start on the outside, but leader called the outside, so I was on the inside. And when that happened, the outside lanes were definitely the faster lanes tonight, and I was like, oh man, there's not enough laps. But yeah, I really liked being up high on that third lane and just getting the side draft. That was my big thing, and hopefully I didn't scare some of the guys. I was very close to them with that side draft, and there was a move there where I was at the top, and then I just went all the way to the bottom and took the lead. But yeah, overall good night. The Ziegler Ford was pretty fast, and it was good to be back in Racers Elite tonight, and running with all you guys.
All right, Matt, you got any questions, comments?
I'm just going to say a magnificent piece of driving by you when it mattered out there on the racetrack. Looked like you had just nerves of steel, like you've been doing this your entire life. The composure you had inside the cockpit of that Ford when you needed to be next level. I mean, you took the dial and you set it right where it needed to be. If you could go back and do it differently, Do you think you had a shot at winning this race, or did the best truck win in your opinion?
I mean, to me the best truck always wins, but I don't know. I was like left or right. Did I go left or right on the guy? And I mean, coming to the line, and he just had enough. I think no matter which way I went, he would have got me. But yeah, super speedway racing's my favorite kind, and I know in other leagues I'm in, they tell me I get very close on the side draft and they get scared of me. But I mean, it works. I mean, that one restart, I was all in the back and got up top and came all the way to the front. And but yeah, it was. This is my favorite, style of racing. So to me, it's just another day in the office.
Brandon, well said. I could not agree with you more. I love super speedway racing. In fact, I'll take it a step further. Money racing on a super speedway, there's nothing more exhilarating than that. That's exactly what you were out there on the racetrack with all that high-flying, high-octane racing action, especially coming down to the line would have mattered. Before we cut you loose, man, who do you want to thank who helped you get it done? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I want to thank my family. I usually just race like Monday through Wednesdays, and then I saw Andrew posted this race, and I thought, well, I'll be home tonight, so that'll be good. And yeah, for them putting up with me doing this and taking a couple of hours out of a Saturday to race with you guys.
Well, there you are, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Biddy, the plate ace, Cobb Coolant Collective, in the heat of the battle out there on the racetrack, comes up just a little bit short, but happy with a solid P2 performance here tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Congratulations on P2.
Thank you.
All right, and unfortunately, it does not seem that Jobin is doing an interview tonight for our P1 finisher.
Highway robbery.
I know. I wanted to talk to him so bad, especially for I believe, a debut race.
Maybe he's just too fired up to do an interview. Maybe he's already had 12 speakers already, and he just said, "Not today. We'll come back to it next time." But
yep. All right, let's take a look at our post-race results. Go ahead and see where everyone ended up after all of the ensuing chaos on that final lap. All right, Charles Jobin, Brandon Biddy, and Mikey Allen will be your top three. First, second, and third in that order. Fourth goes to the 6 of Brett Bray. Fifth to the 55 of Truth Hope. That rounds out your top five. Sixth goes to the 42 of Jonathan Stidham. Seventh to the 10 of Kirby Wainscott. Eighth to the 63 of Garrett Michael. Ninth to the 45 of Ryan Warp. 10th to the 26 of Jesse. Again, I don't know how to say your last name. I'm going to skip that. That'll round out our top 10, though. Congrats to those drivers. 11th to the 41 of Aaron Marquis. 12th, to the 5 of Brandon Buffenbarger. 13th to the 98 of Andrew Teth. 14th to the 60 of Lee Campbell. 15th to the 13 of Robert Garcia. That'll be our top 15. Coming in 16th will be the 7 of Michael Rakes. 17th, the 50 of Terry Fennell. 18th, the 44 of Timothy Adams. 19th, the 83 of Rob Yost Jr. 20, the 16 of Sam Lubers. That'll be our top 20. 21st goes to the 18 of Blake Viken. 22nd, the 888 of Jim B. 23rd, the 81 of Kyle Wells. 24th, the 28 of Russ Kilgore. 25th, the 15 of Kensley Smith. And 26th, the 111 of Christopher Allen. Man, what a race that was.
Absolutely was as advertised. A barn burner from the drop of the green flag. And it was a privilege and a lot of fun being up here holding on for all the high-flying, high-octane racing action. And that overtime, I don't think anybody could have predicted that a potential one-off driver was vibing at the right time to steal one from some of the racers' elite greats out there on the racetrack. But hey, at the end of the day, only one can win, and that was an absolute heck of a performance from that guy, clutch at the right time. Also want to take a moment to thank you guys up here in the booth for having me back. It's been a hot minute, long time coming, and I couldn't pick a better crew to broadcast this race with. excellent job on the production side of things. I'm still like getting used to these graphics. There was times where I was like, what do I even say? I mean, they look so clean as I'm used to out scrambling everywhere, clicking. This was such a, it was a lot of fun calling the race like this. You did a heck of a job, and a lot of fun being back here on Racers Elite Network. Folks, make sure you like, share, subscribe, smash the like button, ring the bell. That way you get notified each and every time Racers Elite is live in prime time, 5 nights a week and sometimes 6. And as the late, great Tony Trapasso used to say, as you walk down the road of life this week, do us all a favor, don't play in traffic. And we'll see you next time right here on Racers Elite Network. Good night, everybody.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.